What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Please pay no attention to my hair, y'all, because I got deep conditioner in right now. But y'all, I've missed y'all and I am so glad y'all are back. Now, if you guys enjoy natural hair content, lifestyle content, and you enjoy true crime content as well, then you are definitely on the right channel. And thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now y'all, today's case is it's a very sad case and it can be a little overwhelming. I am going to say it's kind of like, it's really sad. I'm gonna just say that. But yeah, so today I will be talking about the Liske family murder case while putting deep conditioner on my hair. So I'm not gonna spend too much time because for one, y'all already know how it is. Still working with the old phone, so storage still crazy. I'm gonna get there though. I'm gonna upgrade, y'all, I promise. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get right into this case and I hope you guys enjoy. Warning, today's video contains descriptions of graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, you guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get right into this case. But before I get started, y'all already know I'm looking crazy. It's alright though. I just got out the shower. I just washed my hair. I'm gonna go ahead and put a deep conditioner on. The product that I will be using is the Cream of Nature's Pure Honey Hair Mask. Y'all, I love this mask. Okay, it is very budget friendly and it really gets the job done, especially if you're looking for a deep conditioner that's leaning more towards putting more moisture back into your hair. So you can get this from your local Walmart, and you can also get this online as well and in a stylist beauty supply store. So yeah, I will be using this and we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this case. Now today's case, it takes place in the location of Ohio. So I don't know if y'all have heard of the Liske Family Murders. If not, that is what I'm going to be discussing today. It was quite a very sad and tragic case, honestly. And yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into it. So this is William Liske and Susan Liske. Now William and Susan got married in 2001 and they seem to be happily married. Now Susan had two sons. Her oldest son was named Derek and her youngest son was named Devon. Now William also had a son from a previous marriage as well. His name was William Liske Jr. They called William Sr. Bill and they called William Jr. BJ. So that's what I'm gonna call them for the rest of this story. So BJ and Derek were around the same age and Devon was a few years younger. So from jump, going into the family dynamic, BJ did not really get along with anybody, just being honest. So as soon as BJ moved in, Susan immediately started laying down some rules. Basically what any step parent probably does, it's like, hey, you're living with me now, you're going to have to respect me. You're living under my house, you're definitely going to have to abide by my rules. Y'all, I ain't even gonna cap it to you. BJ wasn't going, okay? Straight like that. He was not going. He was basically like, F what you talking about. I do it if I want. You got me effed up in a sense. So just from jump, like I said before, he didn't get along with any of Susan or neither one of her boys. Going into BJ's background, it does say from jump, and even in the interview, it does state that after his parents got divorced, he did begin to skip school and start misbehaving more. Now, I don't know if that was because of his parents getting divorced or what stemmed from that, or was it like bound to happen anyway. Now, as early as 2002, BJ began to show signs of just kind of needing help, I would say. Some would say probably like just being a troubled child and just misbehaving a lot. But during this time, BJ was on house arrest and Bill ended up having to call law enforcement on his son because he basically threatened his own life. Now the cops ended up coming out to the house. They did come, but when they got there, BJ began to attack the cops. So yeah, from jump, I'm gonna just say BJ was definitely with the shits, okay? And he was charged and he ended up having to go to juvenile court. Now in October of 2004, BJ and Susan actually ended up getting into an altercation that quickly turned physical. BJ ended up striking Susan really hard in the chest. When I read this part, I was just like, that probably would have been the only straw. I'm sorry. Like, my stepson striking me, like hitting me in my chest. Like, nah, I'm sorry. Ain't no way in the world you getting away with hitting me in my chest and like you still gonna live with me. I'm sorry. It just wouldn't be happening. But yeah, he ended up striking her really hard in the chest. So BJ ended up getting charged for robbery and felonies assault for hitting okay, stop freaking laughing. Here I go with this. Sorry y'all. But anyway, so BJ takes a coffee mug, strikes Susan, and then steals her car keys. Now, like I said, it does say he was charged, but the charges were actually dropped because BJ was found incompetent to stand trial. So after this incident happened, Bill was finally like, all right, something's definitely up. Like, this kid, he needs help. He actually ended up moving BJ to a group home for mental health located in Sandusky, Ohio. Bill was hoping with this move that this would definitely help, and I completely agree. Like, this is actually like the first case I hear where a family, like a parent, is actually trying to get help for their child. Like, they're paying attention to the signs and they're taking the steps to get them help. I was very, very proud and shocked by that, and I was glad. Like, when I read that, I'm like, okay, he saw the signs and he just didn't ignore it. You know, he went ahead and he got his son help and he moved him to a mental home. And in 2006, Bill actually ended up getting complete full guardianship over BJ due to him having a mental illness. Actually, in 2007, BJ was hospitalized for schizoaffective disorder. It is a type of bipolar disorder. Now, in BJ was actually on medication, but he eventually, it says that, I think he stopped taking it because he thought he was okay and he didn't need it. I think that was a completely bad idea. But yeah, this is still going on now. While this is happening, he still was kind of lashing out, and it was said that Bill and Susan's neighbor would have to sometimes come over and like either calm BJ down. And it was actually one time in particular, he had to come over and break up a physical fight between Bill and BJ. Unfortunately, like, I don't know what was going on, but he was still lashing out. Now, when BJ turned 18, Bill sadly had to make a decision to kick him out. So one day, Susan was in the shower and BJ came in and tried to attack her. Now, it doesn't say what the cause and why he tried to attack her, but he attacked her. And this caused Bill to just be kind of fed up and make the final decision, like, to kick him out. And he had to go to a mental institution. I don't know if he went there before and then like he got kicked out and had to go back there, or if this was like completely after he tried to attack Susan when he was 18. But I think he was still going to this mental home anyway before the attack, and this just kind of was like the final straw to where he wasn't able to come back to the house after that attack. All right, you guys, so we are fasting forward to October 30th of 2010. So Bill ended up taking some vacation time, and they went to the hunting house that they own in Carroll County to go deer hunting. And yeah, I really liked hearing this part, and it really like kind of broke my heart at the same time, because I mean, you could see obviously he was trying. Like, even though he was in a mental home, he still took the time out to spend time with him. And I just was like, ugh, I hate that this had to happen. Like, this it's crazy to me. But yeah, so they took the trip, everything went great, and everything was good. So they ended up coming back to Ottawa County and ended up coming back home. So when William and BJ got back from the hunting trip, they came back and actually went to a party next door. Their neighbors ended up hosting a party. So William, BJ, and Susan went over next door. During this time, it doesn't explain where Devon was. I mean, because he was still living at home, by the way. So it doesn't go into what he was doing at the time. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But he wasn't at this party. Now, it does say, the neighbor does explain later in the interview how he wasn't at the party. But it wasn't unusual because, like I said before, he did not get along with BJ. So they understood probably why he didn't go to the party. Anyway, they're having fun, they're having a drink, having a good time. And about midnight rolls around and everybody's wrapping it up and finna go home. So Bill decides it's kind of late. I've been drinking. I don't think it's a good idea to drive you back to the house. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let you stay with us tonight. Now this is what he was saying to BJ. Mind y'all, so Derek is at home, or we don't know where he's at, and Devon, who is 16 at the time, ends up spending the weekend at his dad's house, so he wasn't there to go and attend the party as well. But yeah, we're finna go ahead and get straight into the crime. So October 31st of 2010, definitely in the morning time, BJ, who was staying the night, because like I say, Bill decided not to take him home because he was drinking, which, I mean, it makes sense. So BJ takes a 22, goes to his parents' home, Jesus. What am I talking about? What are you talking about, Jataia? Goes to Susan in Bill's room, shoots Bill 5 times in the face, and shoots Susan a total of 3 times. I think it says twice in the head, and like somewhere maybe in the stomach or body. It was Jesus. It said it was on it was like 2 shots to the head and like another like in her body. Somewhere like I don't know, y'all. Hell, it was somewhere. But yeah. Now it says in the cases that he also raped Susan. So he killed Bill first. That's why they happened to find, when they found him, he was just like in a natural sleeping position. But now it says that Susan's body had been moved. So, and when they did DNA testing, it showed that, I mean, she was raped. So they say they don't know when she was raped. So, meaning they don't know if she was raped before she was killed or after. But BJ did end up raping her. And y'all, this is where it gets even more crazy, because when they found Derek, the door to his room was locked. So the cops ended up having to kick that down, and they found him like not in a fetal position, like kind of like balled up in his bed, laid down, and he wasn't moving, and it looked like he had taken a blow to the head. Well, not a blow, actually, like it was more than like once, but they ended up hitting him, seeing that he was striked in the head, and later to find out it was with a hammer, and he probably died within the first minute of the first strike. So it was kind of quick. They were saying that Devon was actually killed before Susan and Bill. They were saying just from like forensics that he was killed on October 30th. And like I say, Bill and Susan were killed like in the early hours of October, Halloween, or October 31st. And I don't know, when I was reading that, I'm just like, I'm just really trying to figure out like the timeline of it, because so police records end up saying like the last time somebody was in contact with him was at 2:02 p.m. October 30th, and nobody had any sense of when. And I guess it does make sense, because I mean, nobody else probably would have contact with him but his parents. So I guess it's just crazy. Like, how did he find time to kill Devon? Oh, I'm sorry, not Devon, y'all. I'm just getting all these names mixed up. I'm confused my damn self. I'm sorry, Derek. How did he have time to kill Derek, and then like a day before, well, not even a day before, but maybe a few hours before, and then kill Susan and Bill, and like nobody would notice? Like, I don't know, the timeline's crazy. But yeah, it was saying like later on when they did the forensics that it was determined that he was killed a day before Bill and Susan, or not a day, but like the day before, but not like an actual whole day before. I don't know, but yeah. So around 9:30 on Halloween, Devon ends up coming back to the house to go ahead and to change his shirt real quick for church. Now, within this time, he said he was at the house maybe like 5 minutes, and he didn't see his parents or his brother, but he does end up seeing BJ. And he says during this encounter, it was very odd. he explained how BJ was like weird, like surprisingly happier than usual, because usually BJ is like dark. He says he's gloomy, and he's not, I mean, he's just not no bubbly person. So it was just weird that all of a sudden he's just like, hey, how are you? Oh, where you finna go? How long you gonna be there? Like, and I would get it, because I mean, it would be kind of weird too. Like, dude, we never talk. I mean, you don't even like me. Why are you asking me where I'm gonna be, what I'm doing? Like, I'd be suspicious too. Like, okay, what's going on? Why do you have this certain burst of energy and you're excited? Anyway, Devon ends up going to church and not paying it no mind. Now, once Devon leaves, BJ actually ends up taking the family's F-150 and driving it back to the place where the hunting home where they just came from the trip that Bill and BJ were on. I'm confused my own self. But yeah, so he ends up going back there, but before he makes it back to that hunting house, he stops by Subway and purchases a Subway sandwich that he actually ends up not being able to eat because the cops were not even probably, y'all, it says he wasn't even there like a whole hour. So hell, I would say within a good 30 to 40 minutes. I mean, when I read that, I'm like, that was the fastest somebody's ever like found a damn suspect. That was kind of crazy. And I was trying to like read how did they damn, well, okay, I guess it was from the son, and it had to be from Devon, because I was just like, how the hell they know where he was that quick and where he would go? But okay, it does make sense there. I guess they probably got the information from Devon. But yeah, so he was there, and not even an hour later they was busting down the door on his ass, and he was charged with 1 count of murder. Now, this was only just to be able to like book him, because they haven't really just proved that it was him yet. But that was only to make sure like that they were able to like book him and keep him until he got in front of a grand jury so they can decide. I'm sorry, y'all, but let me go ahead and backtrack, because I haven't explained how basically the bodies were discovered by Devon. So when Devon came back from church, I want to say it was probably like around 12ish, he ended up just going to his room and like playing video games for an hour or so. Then around 1:30 he began to realize, hey, there's no movement in the house, there's nobody up. Okay, like, and usually his mom is up by this time, moving around doing something. So he thought that was very odd. So he ended up going to Will and, why do I keep saying Will? I'm gonna get it together. I swear I'm gonna get it together. He ended up going to Bill and Susan's room to see to wake them up. So as soon as he walked in there, he saw that the covers were, they had maroon covers, and it was completely over their bodies. And at first he thought this was like a Halloween joke, like, haha, very funny, you guys. This is hilarious. Okay, I get it. Unfortunately, that was not the case. So he ended up walking over, and he noticed that his mom's foot was sticking out from under the covers. So he tapped on it. Now, at this part, I don't know. I guess when he tapped, he didn't realize. Well, I don't know. Maybe her body was still kind of warm, because like I felt like it would have been like cold, but I guess it had only been like some hours before the murder, because I don't know. But yeah, he tapped on her leg, and he didn't get a response. So he then like tried to talk to her to kind of wake her up, and still there was no movement. So then he eventually went and he pulled the covers from over their heads, and that's when he unfortunately found the gruesome scene. Like, he immediately knew that this was definitely not a Halloween prank. He saw that Susan's pillowcase was completely soaked in blood, and when Devon saw that, he completely, I can only imagine what he was doing, like in like the fear he had, because at that point it was more about like, shit, my family's gotten killed. He didn't check on his brother, but he probably figured, he was probably dead too. But as soon as that happened, he shot out of the house, which I probably would have too. That was probably smart, because you never know. The killer could have still been in there. So he ran out and he immediately called his aunt. Now, when he called his aunt, I mean, he was hysterical, which, as, I mean, anybody who had just discovered their parents murdered in their bed would be. He called his aunt crying hysterically, yelling, and telling them the incident. So the aunt comes out to the home, sees what has happened, and then calls 911. And yeah, basically it goes from there, and that's where they probably did an interview with Devon, and they figured, hey, he's at the house, and they check there and they arrest him. Now, y'all, so he ends up going on trial. Like I said, he first was only booked with 1 count, and then eventually he was booked with all 3. At first, his bond was set for $1 million, and then eventually they moved it up to $3 million for his bond. So finally, BJ is booked and he's arrested, and he's waiting at the Artriece now. Y'all already know how I do with pronouncing words, so I hope I'm saying that right. But he was waiting at the Artriece County Jail. So finally, they're getting ready for his trial. Now, he's already pleading not guilty, and he is actually charged with 6 counts of aggravated murder, and he is looking at the death penalty. Now, before he can actually go on trial, BJ actually ends up having to undergo a psychic evaluation just to see if he's actually competent with standing trial. Now, he ends up having to take this evaluation at 2 different locations. One at Court and Diagnostics Treatment Center, and then the other one at Twin Valley Behavioral Health Care. Now, eventually, BJ was found competent to be able to stand trial, and once again, he's still looking at the death penalty, a possibility. And like I said before, he was already pleading not guilty. But then on August 12th, 2011, BJ actually takes a plea deal and changes his plea to guilty in exchange to not get the death penalty. Now, this was accepted, and on September 14th of 2011, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. And y'all, I actually want to say that he actually got 3 life sentences. Yeah, I didn't write it down, but I think when I researched it, yeah, he actually did get 3 life sentences. But yeah, and yeah, so he got life without parole. And then actually on March 31st of 2015, BJ committed suicide in his cell, and he was found with self-inflicted wounds. So yeah, he ended up committing suicide after it all, which honestly, I was kind of confused by this part, because I mean, he literally took a plea deal to like not do the death penalty, and then like you turn around and kill yourself. I'm definitely having a feeling this happened to do with his mental illness, definitely, because I mean, I don't know, it's just, I mean, he did kill himself like years later, but it was just still like, okay. But yeah, the case is just completely crazy. It is, and it's really a sad one. And another reason, like, I chose it for one, because I mean, it happened on Halloween, but also because it really just like shows like the importance in the mental issues part of it. And y'all, like, I ain't gonna lie, this case really broke my heart, because like, I mean, Bill, he tried himself, and like, I really commend him, because even like I said before, he was aware of mental illness. You can obviously see he took it serious, and he wanted to get his son help. He really did. And I don't know, like, he still took the time to make sure that he spent time with him, let him know that, I mean, he was not going to be one of those to just be left in a mental institution and just fall by the wayside and just be forgotten. Like, he took the time to like let him know that he loved him, he was there for him, he would still spend time with them. And yeah, I mean, this is just a really sad case, because it's just more of a very smart and good decision, like, that turned out to be one of the worst decisions. Because I mean, all he wanted to do is just like, I don't know, just love his son. And it's just crazy. He didn't want to drive him home that night because he was drinking, which was very smart. I mean, that was like, I mean, it was a no-brainer. Like, hey, and it's just sad. You thinking like, okay, well, I'll just let him spend the night. Like, one night won't hurt, right? And y'all, he just killed, like, he kills the whole family. I was just like in complete shock and just like, wow. there's like, why in the world would you kill your whole family? But it just, reading his background, it just, okay, you could not see this coming, but you wouldn't be surprised as well, especially going into like, you know, the altercations and him not having a good relationship with his stepmom and stepbrothers. I mean, it's just really crazy, and it just really got me to thinking, like, I mean, maybe what this have happened was like, was he off of his medication at this time? Was he like completely not taking it? Was he, I mean, like while he was in that mental institution, were they like actually, you know, trying to help him? And yeah, I really be like honestly trying to get in like the killers, their head, to really figure out like what possessed them to do this. Like, I know mental illness is like a big part of the reason, but just even more so like what made BJ like do this? Like, did he feel like his father may have like chosen his stepmother and his stepbrothers over him when he kicked him out when he turned 18? Did he like, was he angry at him for that? Because at first I was thinking like, yeah, he probably maybe was upset about that, and he like just offed his family for it. But even then, I'm just like, dang, why would he? I mean, from jump, he didn't like his stepmother and stepbrothers, obviously. So I'm just like, but it made no sense, because I mean, he would have just killed them, you know. But he didn't do that. He also killed his father. So it just shows like I found it crazy. And then it really confused me when it said that he raped Susan. I'm just like, okay, I don't know. It's weird, sad. I just like, I really think like definitely mental illness played a part in it. But it's just like, did he hate his family that much? I really feel like it's like retaliation from Bill kicking him out when he turned 18. I really feel like it's that. And I honestly felt like this was premeditated. Like, he probably could have been thinking of this while he was like at the home, and possibly was thinking like the first opportunity where he's able to stay overnight, he's gonna do it. Because I think it's really sad, y'all. And once again, I just keep thinking about the dad. Like, he really wanted to help his son. Like, he really did. And he did everything he thought was right. And honestly, like I said before, there's plenty of people, like, they know that their child needs help mentally and they will not get them help. And he took those steps to do that. And for him to just outright and just kill him like that, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's just sad, and it's just confusing. Like, why? So I do apologize. My phone just cut off on its own, probably because I'm getting real close to being out of storage. Yeah, I'm so sick and tired of this. But I do plan on looking for a new phone, probably like in the next couple of days or so. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video. But yeah, definitely like tell me what y'all's thoughts on this case, and how do y'all feel? Do y'all feel like mental health played a big part in this, or like, you know, was it this murder premeditated? What are y'all thoughts? Just go ahead and make sure to comment them down below. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to make sure it don't cut off. But yeah, and also my heart does go out to the Liske family, just the mother, the son, all of them. I just can't imagine this, y'all, honestly. So y'all definitely please make sure to send out love and positivity to this family, because even though this happened over 10 years ago, I mean, it still never gets old. So, but yeah, so I love you guys. Definitely do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see y'all in my next video.